Alright, it's gonna be a long video. That Ad Johnson guy just had to come back with more of his little snarky crap. And, I'd like to paraphrase this video, but it just won't do justice to the bullshit. I mean, really, the bullshit of his argument needs to be exposed for what it is, because it's a bullshit tactic. So anyway, let's play the videotape.
Let's intellectually try to make some convoluted argument to explain away the fact that somehow value doesn't exist because it's not made out of matter.
And that, my friends, is what we call a straw man argument. I never said that value didn't exist. I said that it only exists to individuals who decide that it matters to them.
Yeah, which is really stupid. Which is like saying planet Earth isn't round unless we agree on it, or unless a subjective beast says it's round. That's not the fucking argument. The argument is there is a fact, okay, quality of something, a quality it has, can be as strong, as sturdy, as real a fact, okay, as any other fact we can observe with our other senses. Our intellect can rationally discern qualities that are not material, but do exist. And so let's just be clear on this definition of objective. We might as well just, especially in the context that you're using it, let's just use the word absolute. You're saying there's no absolute value in the universe. Alright, so instead of saying objective, let's just replace it with the word absolute. I rather use the word objective to mean from an objective perspective, one that is not biased by emotional subjective bias. But let's go with your implication of the word, which is objectivity means it doesn't exist as an absolute truth or fact.
Yeah, right. So the evidence adds up because there's evidence of it. Right? Is that your argument? So, all right. Can we agree? Because there's evidence.
There's evidence that suffering exists, and there's evidence that people have values, and that's about it.
That's just ludicrous. So there's evidence that suffering exists, but it only exists if a subjective consciousness, an emotional consciousness, is somehow emoted by it. An intellect can't recognize suffering as an existing thing. Just pure intellect, pure intelligence can't just say, just like the world has the quality, the earth, of being round, it can't say that a sentient being has the quality of being harmable. It can't say something like that as an intellectual statement. It has to have an emotion. Bullshit.
That's silly. It's not about judging a particular morality. It's about analyzing the rationality, the logic, the intelligence of the theory.
Depending on who analyzes the question, the person will come to a different conclusion. That is...
Well, that's really silly. Again, is it so you're going to say, depending on who analyzes the facts or analyzes the person's opinion, the world may be flat? That may be possible. The world is flat. No, the evidence points to one fucking truth. That's it. It either is true or it is not true. There's not multiple fucking truths. The planet Earth is either a sphere-ish shape or it is not. It is either flat or it's round. One of those two choices is closer to the fucking goddamn accurate description of the fucking reality. Period. There's a right answer and a wrong fucking answer.
Because people disagree about issues of morality.
People disagreed about what shape the world was. Did it change the fact of what shape the world was? No, it didn't change that fact one tiny little stinking goddamn bit. The fucking planet was still round even when people thought it was flat.
Does the theory make sense? Is there any way you can twist or turn the theory to break its rationality, its logic, its sensibility? That's the question. The morality comes down to the word value, which you have this little thing, there he goes, values, that's the key word, values. So all I'm contending is there is such a thing as value in the universe.
I don't think there is one subjectivist arguing the idea that value doesn't exist.
Well, I don't know how you can do it. You just can't have it both ways. You can't say value exists, but we can't define it. There's no explicit definition. There's no completely accurate definition. There's only a bunch of subjective, erroneous, made-up definitions, but there's no accurate definition of this thing called value in the universe. Bullshit.
All we're saying is that value comes from people assigning value to things that they experience in the universe as a consciousness.
No, it comes from people describing the reality, assigning, you're right there again using this projective language as if we have to sit there and find the value. We have to put it into the thing by desiring or wanting or caring. No, we don't put the value there. We don't need to care. Okay, if a cat is suffering right in front of me, I don't need to care. I don't need to have empathy. I don't need anything for it to be a fact that that cat is suffering and that it's not a good thing. I don't have to recognize it for it to be real, idiot.
That also includes animals and the squirrel with a knife in its head.
That an ultimate intelligence, if there was such a thing, if there was an intelligence that had all knowledge of our universe, of every molecule, every interaction, everything, and it was to look at our universe, it could discern the fact that there is value in this, that there are sentient creatures and that they feel and that matters.
You know what, I agree. In order for the universe...
You agree, again, so you agree that ultimately ultimate intelligence would be able to perceive accurately, describe accurately, the existence of value. Yet you won't concede that there is an accurate description? That's bullshit.
To recognize the value that exists within it, it has to become a huge fucking godlike intelligence. That's exactly...
Yeah, well, regardless of how intelligent we would have to become, that's not the issue, is it? The issue is whether the truth exists. The fact that we might not have ascertained the complete truth, the fact that we might not know how much the value, my irritation at your inane and nonsensical crap, how much value that has in the world, in the universe, and whether that suffering that I'm enduring by having to listen to your inane bullshit, maybe it's a lot more meaningful than we think. Maybe an ultimate intelligence would realize, yeah, there's not too much positive to make up for that negative, and that negative just resounds through the universe, echoes, because some fucktard can't use simple, basic goddamn English, and has to sit there and make up this bullshit to escape, I don't know what he's attempting to escape, accountability? Well, what are you attempting to, what are you running from?
That's what I'm saying. Morals are not floating around in the universe in the same way as carbon atoms.
Says you. I mean, right, you just made that up, right? You just say, because something's not material, it doesn't exist.
And again with the straw man that I think that value doesn't exist.
Again, if you say it exists, then it can be explicitly, detailed, precisely described and defined, correct? Asshole? It doesn't exist because somebody just makes it up.
Not true. And if you want to be technical, it does have a material existence because it exists within the atomic brains of living creatures on this planet. And there's got...
But that's different, okay? The fact that the arrangement exists is one thing you describe. The second thing you describe is the manifestation, okay? An arrangement of atoms can create magnetism, but the magnetism is not the same as the atoms.
Gotta be at least 10 billion of the higher mammals who can have a conscious experience and formulate moralities. That implies...
Formulate moralities, right, but isn't the idea to formulate an accurate description of the value equation, the truth of the value equation?
That there could be up to 10 billion unique moralities on the surface of the planet. Are you prepared to imply that one objective standard covers them all?
Yes, I'm prepared to state explicitly that the world is round. Whether people accept it or not, it's motherfucking round. And I'm prepared to say that ultimately there is one truth regarding value and how much it means when something suffers and how much it means when something satisfies their silly desires. That these things have real, definable, qualitative, quantum-based realities. And yes, we haven't quite managed to get our brain wrapped around it, but we're getting closer and closer. We figured out that it's wrong, the slavery thing is wrong, and the wife-beating thing is wrong, and this thing and the child work camps are wrong. We've started to figure out some of this shit. We're not eating a lot of people aren't eating the animals anymore, so we're figuring it out, asshole.
What if magnetism turns out not to be a material force? But somehow it says, we don't know exactly how it works. We don't understand the mechanism. What if the whole universe itself is really antimatter?
Have you been hanging out with those phantasmagorgos lately, man?
Okay.
Oh yeah, right. So that's the way you you know what? That's exactly what I say to your fucking bullshit. How could somebody be so ludicrous as to on one hand say it doesn't exist, and the next hand concede that an intelligence that so sees it would be godlike, except he wasn't doing the creation part. He was just doing the observing part. And so if a god can figure it out, if that's the ultimate, if that's the what real intelligence would do is discern it and see it, then why wouldn't we attempt to get to that point? Why wouldn't we attempt to become an ultimate intelligence and get the answer right instead of getting the answer wrong? I mean, it would be really dumb not to say, well, let's get the answer right, like the God-like thing that is capable of understanding it.